Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Came across a video of LAHWF, Andrew Hales. Been a subscriber, a fan of his for some time now. You know, when he was doing pranks and when he decided to transition away from pranks because of prank culture and kind of the negative connotation around it with fake pranks and stuff. And so he wanted to transition into chatting with and just doing a lot of other experimental things. And I don't know why, but I think I've followed him ever since because I saw a little bit of myself in him. When it came to social norms, I love talking about social norms and why we do the things we do, why we act a certain way, why we think a certain way. I love talking about that. So if you guys have any topics that you maybe that's on your mind, feel free to comment below. But I came across one of his videos earlier, I think recently, and he was talking about the title is why 90% of people never improve their social skills and are stuck. And so I encourage you to watch it, but I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it. And so I'll play it here.
I remember I went to Dallas, Texas when I was 20 years old and to sell pest control door to door. And I drank a Monster energy drink every single day. And I wasn't even close to being one of the top guys. I mean, the office started with 30 of us, and then at the end of the summer there was like 6 of us. Because there's like a little bonus of like $1,000 if you finish to the end of the summer. But no, yeah, I was still, gosh, I think I did the math and it was like I made $5 an hour. Because we were on the doors for like 8 hours a day. And oh man, that was such an awful job.
If any of you guys have done jobs like that, where they usually try to get teenagers, early 20s, because because we're broke, so we will work for anything. And so I actually had a job around that. I think Andrew said he was 20 when he had that job in Dallas. I was around the same age. I was 19. And I was working a job. I think I was like picking up trash, and they say we'll give you $1,000 if you finish the summer. And of course, people want to when you're that age and you're broke, $1,000 is a lot of money. And so it was a crappy experience, but it does teach you grit a little bit. Working outside, working every day is just a little bit different versus working at a retail or restaurant at that age. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I do believe that you kind of like grow your gritty side with those type of jobs because you do see people quit midway, maybe the first week, and it's no big deal because they can just find another job. But it does teach you do see that, and how to work through things, and you realize it kind of gives you confidence that it's like, oh wow, that they couldn't do this. How come I can do this? And it does grow your grittiness bone a lot. But eventually you kind of graduate from those type of jobs and you do go to a retail where there's promotions and things like that. It's maybe the same old day to day, but you work with the same people and you work with the public. And so yeah, if you've ever had a job like that, let me know. I'm very curious to know.
But I knew there was something there with people skills. That sounds so nerdy. But people skills, I think they get you like 10 times farther in life than anything I learned in school. So, do you agree with that? I mean, obviously school's important.
Actually, I will say one thing. Yeah, I do believe that I learned way more after graduating school because school just, I would say nothing against schools, but college they teach you how to be an employee, how to get things done at a certain time, and it teaches you how to think. It does teach you. College teaches you how you learn best. You will get around other students who maybe learn best through just reading, and then doing it, or hearing maybe lectures, or watching videos that is just all visual or actually doing it. And I believe just kind of like the Myers-Briggs test that he was talking about, or like introvert, extrovert, there's like a partial. I do believe learning is the same way. I would be curious to know what your learning styles is, but mine is definitely, I think it's like kinesthetic. I'm hands-on. I need visuals. I need to be able to, that's the other part. I need to be able to just work. I need to be able to work through things and see them. Hearing, okay, cool, that makes sense to me, but I'm not going to remember everything, and writing things down also just doesn't work for me either. So it's just definitely doing it. And so he mentioned, let me see,
reading's important. And your own education is important.
Right. And so I do think you learn more from outside of just like actually doing it, being in the field, having battle scars and things like that. And as far as continuing to educate yourself, yeah, I'm a big proponent to reading just a little bit every day. It's like a muscle. Your brain is like a muscle as far as like the rest of your body. If you don't work it every day, if you don't strengthen it, if you don't give it resistance, then it's not going to get stronger. It's going to go the other way. Nothing stays stagnant. And so, something to think about.
I think the most valuable skill you can have is learning to deal with people and talk with people and stuff. And so, yeah, that's what always kind of brought me back to sales, is like, I just want to be a sales dog, one of those guys that makes $100,000 in a summer. An extrovert, basically. And I think a lot of people turn to drinking. Obviously, it's a social lubricant. It helps you come out of your shell. And so this post is saying you have to learn to come out of your shell without, or just,
That's interesting to me because, when you are kind of a late teenager, early 20s, that's a pretty crucial time because you're out of high school. A lot of kids at that age are moving out of their parents' house, and so they're just getting on their 2 feet, learning how the world works around them, and learning that it's tough. And so for people who didn't maybe learn that grit skill or strengthen it, as far as like people skills and things like that, how to deal with people, I wonder, if there's people, I'd have to look into this more, but I wonder if there's people that maybe didn't learn those skills and have to get over that or deal with it a certain way. And when they, maybe get nervous or just kind of like, it's just like that first girl that you decide that you really like, or that first guy that you really like, and you're really, really nervous and you're just like, I don't know, and so maybe for people skills, you kind of, I don't know what that was, by the way, but maybe for people who lack those people skills, they need some sort of helping hand. And unfortunately, that could be, alcohol and drugs. Not that anything, you live your life, but it's just in moderation. So I'm a big fan of, moderation with everything, good or bad. Everything is great with moderation. So.
What do you think? I'm gonna start doing. I'm just gonna start reading into this crispy mic. It's so crispy. All right, my bitch ass goats. Like, what should I call this? Reddit with Andrew, or fall asleep to this? So if you want to overcome, okay. And so then some people are like, how to practice social skills when you don't have friends. How to be someone, people practice social skills when you don't have friends. It's, it's obviously awkward making friends on purpose. You can't really force friendship. It's something like, it just happens. Let's see, making friends.
I would say, here's what I would challenge, Andrew, where, making friends, there is some intention, but uh, that it just happens. That part of it, and I've moved to a city where I only knew one person at the time, and I've been forced to grow my friend group. And yes, some of it was through work, but changing jobs, that kind of lets you know who your real friends are. If they still communicate with you, or you communicate with them after you leave or they leave. But I've made friends just out and about in school as well. Same thing. Most people depend on those things because you're already in that environment with them for so long that it's just effortless. You're kind of experiencing the same thing, and I believe that's the key for any relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's romantic, whether it's business. I believe that both parties experiencing the same unique situation, and going from there. What do I want to say? I believe that needs to happen very early on, and it does happen in school all the time. It does happen at a job all the time. But outside of those two things, if there's someone you want to be friends with, it's also a two-way street. Same with the other things, romance and a business partnership. It's two-sided. It takes two to tango. But that's just one key factor. Both of those two parties need. There needs to be an understanding that this is what we both want. This is what I want out of this. This is what they want out of this. And I also believe, in a friendship, back to talking to friendship, there needs to be that unique scenario very early on, maybe within the first 2 months, that both of you guys can kind of lean on or go back to or be able to reflect from. Like, hey, remember that time we did that stupid thing? Or remember that concert we went to? Man, that was great. And it needs to be a very, very, not super unique, but like, not like going to the movies or something like that, or watching a TV show. Those things aren't unique. We have access to them. We can experience those things on our own. But I believe there needs to be something unique enough that either pulls some emotion out of the both of them, and that's just the beginning. And from there, it's similarities. It's on, I guess, interests. It's similarities on point of view, perspective, way of life, maybe investments, sports, anything like that. That's what kind of like maintains the friendship. But that initial is like that initial unique scenario that you both experience is that spark moment. I believe that.
I remember in high school, I went to the skate park and I deliberately tried to make a friend. And I was like, hey, what's up? Or, hey, I'm Andrew. I was like 15. And the kid was like, hey, what's up? He like didn't want to, it was kind of weird. And I was like, so the very next question, what kind of music do you like?
Right away. I mean, I've done the exact same thing. I would like to share this on another video, but it's the idea of, it's funny because I know exactly what the guy is thinking, because when I did that, asked one question and then bounced to another question and then bounced to another question that were completely unrelated to each other, the person was just like, are you the FBI? Why are you asking me all these questions? Well, they had every right to ask me that question or respond that way, because none of those questions were related. But it is important to ask related questions. I've heard this saying, a couple of times: follow the yellow brick road. And so when you're asking a question, it should be a bounce back and forth between the two. The conversation should go back and forth, right? Maybe you'll speak a little bit more, maybe they will speak a little bit more, but then after that, you're gonna ask a follow-up question. So like I said, I want to share that in another video, maybe get some thoughts around that.
So I've certainly paid my dues in navigating the world socially. It's, A lot of advice just comes down to experience, like gain experience, just do it. Nike, for some peculiar reason, discovered the greatest advice of all time and made it their slogan. I mean, even if you fail, you learn from the experience. And then that's how character and confidence is earned. But yeah, making friends though, you just have to get a job. I made a lot of friends at work naturally, because you're interacting with them because of a third party, i.e. a job or a group or activity, support groups. There's definitely a balance. You have to. Did you hear that? There's definitely a balance. You have to be a friend to have friends. So you do have to, don't flake on people. Don't, make time for friends. What do you guys think? Do you think friendship it can't be forced? It's kind of like love, you can't force like a relationship into being in love,
I absolutely agree with this. And so I do believe you do need to be a friend to make a friend. And that's kind of giving without any expectations or expecting anything in return. And then flaking on people, like, when you're making friends, whether it's through a job, through school or whatnot, in any circumstance or any, place, if they're not pouring the same amount of effort into, I guess that would fall into the expectation. You'll kind of know it early on, like if we'll compare this to romantic relationships, if the girl isn't into you or if the guy isn't into you, you'll kind of know because you're putting in a little bit more effort. You're a little bit more excited to meet up, and where they're just like, whatever, or they're just, you can feel that, us as human beings, we can feel these things. And so you'll know that early on. And that's when I believe that's what he's talking about. You can't really force those things. You can't really force someone to want to put in the same amount of effort. So if you know that early on when you're making friends that, maybe they're not interested in making friends with me, it's nothing personal. It's just not where they're at right now. Then walk away. It's fine to walk away than to keep spending energy towards that certain person, or maybe spending time, maybe spending money towards that certain person only to get back pennies on the dollar, and then you're left frustrated. And so, yeah, I'm big into that. So anyways, looks like he's about to finish the video, but let me know kind of what your thoughts are, and maybe some references. I do like hearing about what certain artists, authors rather, that maybe expound on these type of things. And so anyways, have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.